I think that's everything organized. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sarah Holly. Thanks for being here. I'm in the mood to nest. I am 25 weeks pregnant today, and so I know this is maybe early for some people, but I'm a very organized person. I like everything having their place, and I would like to think that over the years, as I've been living in this house, I've slowly kind of built a good system for where things live and kind of how they're organized. The fact that I now have to incorporate a whole series of baby things into my life and into my spaces means I need less stuff because as I'm building my registry and starting to think about what life is going to look like with a newborn, I'm realizing that I don't have enough spaces for baby things. And so it's time to start making room for a baby to move in. It is the first day of August today. And so my showers are going to be throughout September and October. The majority of my showers will be done at the end of September. And so I'll probably do the most of the actually nesting in the traditional sense of getting everything ready then. But I do feel like I need to prep my house now. So let's dive right into it. Okay, you are obviously in my kitchen. As I look around, I don't honestly have much cabinetry. What you see is kind of what you get. I've got the uppers, I've got one L here, and then all these cabinets behind me. There's not a lot of drawers either in the lower cabinetry. So I have drawers down this side, you can't see them, but they're full of Tupperware. That doesn't give me a lot of other options for a baby drawer, except for what you're seeing right here. So as we're thinking about storage, I have this island. It has 2 drawers. I think one of these is going to become the baby drawer. I also feel like it's a good size for it. They're horizontal, but not huge. And so this is what is eventually going to need to be consolidated. There's a lot in here, but I think that there's opportunity for us to get rid of some stuff I don't use. So let's get started with that. This is the current state of these drawers. We kind of organized by color. So anything that was black comes in here. Everything else goes in here. This is the drawer I think has the most opportunity because I don't use a lot of this stuff. Most of the stuff I use very consistently, but I still think there's opportunity to reduce this. Bottle opener that I never use because we would just use other things. I have 2 of these storage trays that in theory were intended to organize this somehow, and they don't, so I'm just gonna get rid of them. I have more spatulas than I need, and this one is on the cheaper side, so I'm gonna get rid of this. Cake spatula. I do actually use this every once in a while, but not enough to keep in my main area, so I might go put it down next to my cake decorating kit. So I'm not gonna use this for anything other than that. Oh my gosh! I just discovered I have copper straws. I have a whole bag of straws in here. Look at this. Wow. All right, well, these go somewhere else, but I'm glad that I have them. My mom gave this to me. It's technically a garlic peeler, and she gave it to me because she never used it, and I also never use it, so I'm going to give this away. I have 3 mini spatulas. I do not need 3 mini spatulas. I'm gonna keep this one and give these 2 away. Serving utensils that are very pretty, but I have a different place for them, so I'm gonna move these as well. Same with this cheese situation. A knife I never use. I've never used it, and I have other things to do that, so I'm gonna give this away. This is a little bittersweet for me because I grew up with one of these little you've seen these mushroom and egg kind of cutters. Because it's Pampered Chef and my mom was Pampered Chef, but I don't use it enough to take up space in my kitchen. Ooh, that hurts. I don't use it enough to take up space in my kitchen. I don't use it enough to take up space in my kitchen. This is an easy one. I bought this in the Dominican Republic, probably in high school. I bought it to smash plantains for fried plantains. Have I ever once done that? No. Has it been in my kitchen since then? Yes. So, getting rid of that. Another spatula. I don't need this. All right, you guys, I'm gonna wipe this down, but I have transitioned everything into here, It does feel more crowded than they used to, which stresses me out just a tiny bit, but it will fit. And I am going to use this for the smaller things to keep it organized. So do a wash and then I'll show you the end. Here's our results. We have a organized but fuller one drawer and then a completely empty second drawer. I am noticing that I need to get liners because this board is fairly cheap. It's taking the stains of the water and even the like sanitizer spray I put in here. So I need to get a liner for both of these. That is a good first step. While I'm at it, I've decided to do a couple other drawers that have been neglected in my kitchen. Not necessarily for baby, just for my own peace of mind. So let's do a couple more. Silverware drawer, just has collected things over the years. Let's clean this out. In 1, 2, 3. And here she is, all tidied and wiped down. I do actually have some space back here, so if it has something small that doesn't feel like it has space or a place, I'll put it right there. You join me on the floor. This corner needs some love. I have this cabinet that I already know. I never use this. I think we got it for our wedding. It's cute, but time to go. What do I do with this? I know it's for your KitchenAid. I never use it, but I feel bad somehow separating it from its like home. I might look up how expensive it is to see how much it would be to buy one in the future if I ever, I don't need it. I don't need it. Tin pans that don't belong in there. And this is where I keep my cereal. This works for me. Look at this. That's an empty shelf. I could definitely use some baby stuff down there. And actually, as I say that, a little chat. Something that I'm feeling nervous about is the lack of counter space that I have in this kitchen and the amount of things that are now going to need to be on the counters because of baby stuff. So we have a bottle sterilizer. We're gonna need bottle drying racks. We're gonna need a bottle warmer. Like there's just gonna be things that are gonna need to be in the kitchen that I'm not used to having on the counters. And I really do love open counters as much as possible. So what's nice is I could leave this shelf empty. We can kind of pull in and out as needed instead of having to have everything on the counter. But also of those things I just mentioned, what would not be on the counter? Maybe a bottle warmer if I'm gonna try to breastfeed as much as possible. So I don't know, we don't need to solve that right now, but at least we have a pretty large, deep shelf that can hold something as needed. Last but not least, my Lazy Susan. It has continued to accumulate more and more as the years have gone on. It's sort of my catch-all place. Like if I'm not sure where something goes or it's kind of awkward shaped, it falls here. I just don't need it to do so much. I'd like it to feel less cluttered, so let's do that. For example, as someone that hosts occasionally, but not that often, I don't need this many white bowls for dip. So we can start there. These I took from my cottage when I first moved in and didn't have any bowls before I got the other bowls. Since these are a matching set, I'm going to bring these back to my cottage. Donate, 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 donate. I have this whole set plus an even minier one, and I just don't need this many. So I think I'm gonna keep just the big one, because you can sift small amounts of liquid in this size too. Just the big one, donate these. I think I will keep one, and it has the little filter in here. All right, this may not look tidier to you, but it is tidier. I feel good about that. Looking at all the things I'm donating. I do need to give this a deep clean, but that's not a problem for today. And this officially concludes the decluttering of my kitchen. It's not so much the quantity, but it really is the clutter. Like I don't know how much you can see in here, but it's just all these miscellaneous things. So I actually feel pretty good about that. Reorganized, got rid of a bunch of stuff that I just never use. And now let's move on to the bathroom. Here's the thing with this bathroom. I have 2 big cabinets, and then under the sink as good storage that could be used for baby. But they're all full. I need at least one accessible shelf. I'm thinking one of these two for baby things, whether that's towels, even the bathtub. I would love to be able to actually fit inside of one of these shelves. I'd actually be really interested if that would fit. If that's the case, we might need 2 shelves. We'll figure it out, but at least I need to clear one. I also need to clear some space in one of these for baby things in the way of like skincare and whatever. Also for postpartum care. Yeah, I'm gonna need to clear a full shelf and then some space on another shelf for that sort of stuff. So let's get to it. So up here is a lot of kitchen tablecloths and then kitchen linens. I don't need this many, and they also don't need to live here. So I think I'm going to consolidate this, and then this shelf, that's all of our bath towels, I also can move from down here up here and just have this be a linen upper cabinet because we don't go into it that often. So let's do that first. Of the kitchen towels, these I'm gonna give away. These are just stained, so I'm gonna get rid of them. So getting rid of all of these and keeping these. You couldn't see these behind the kitchen towels that were up here, but these are really beautiful cloth napkins that can be used for fancy dinners or hosting. I love them. I think they're gorgeous. I inherited quite a few of these from my grandma, and so these aren't going anywhere, but I use them so infrequently that they need to go in my basement in my like hosting kitchen. I have a whole setup down there, and so they really need to go in there. They do not need to be in a very accessible part of my bathroom. We're back on the floor. I've moved the towels. We'll tackle this shelf in a second. Now I need to tackle linens. I have a lot of miscellaneous linens, and they don't fit in here super great, and so let's see what we can do. These are king pillowcases, and we don't have a king. We also don't have any blue sheets. I'm gonna donate these. These, on the other hand, I'm actually going to move up to the baby shelf because we're going to start using these now. These pillowcases, we don't need them. They don't match anything, so I think I'm just going to donate them. Shelf is tidier than it was. Got rid of 2 sets of pillowcases and just reorganized it a little bit. These are going to move up here, so they'll have plenty of space with baby bath time. And now I actually have, you can't really see it, but there's this like empty space on the side that if I have smaller things or if I want to keep any of this stuff, I can keep it on here too if I need to. So moving on to this next shelf. I am so sorry, I'm so cramped in here. This is really not great angles, but this is my pre-pregnancy shelf. So it's got some trying to conceive things in here that I didn't end up using that I can get rid of and give to some friends that are trying to get pregnant. And then I also have like pads and period products in here that I'm also not really using right now, but will eventually. So it doesn't make sense to get rid of them, but I don't necessarily need them in this format right here. So I might be able to consolidate them or do something else. So let's see what we can do. I actually just found the pregnancy tests that we took when I was first finding out I was pregnant. That is very bittersweet. I don't need to keep all of these, but I think I will keep at least 1 or 2 because they're really, really good memories. These 2. I also have some travel things in here that are good to have, but I don't really need it. I don't need this many. So I'm going to donate this. I am going to keep these, but I'm going to maybe consolidate these down. I don't need this many. And then I'm going to look over these to see if I can put this in this and have this be my easy shower travel. This box actually has beauty blenders in it, and it is time for me to start a new beauty blender. So let's toss this gross situation and start with a fresh one. The rest of this box is a collection of variety pack pads and then some like panty liners. Ever since moving to period underwear, I never use pads anymore. Even like the period thongs I have, I use in place of panty liners. But postpartum, I am expecting to want to go through more disposable kind of pads. Plus I have them, so it doesn't feel as wasteful. So I am actually going to keep these up here and work through them postpartum. So I'm going to leave them on this shelf and hopefully get some use out of them. All right, I think that is good for now. Plenty of space to add baby things in here, and I will probably get some storage once I get through my baby showers, just to see what would help, because it's quite a deep storage shelf. I definitely need to organize the makeup and skincare on those top two shelves, but that is a whole nother day and something I might even do off camera. I don't know. If you're interested, comment down below if you want me to do that on camera, but that's too many decisions to make for today. I do, however, want to do this one last section under my sink. I have things in here like the #1 culprit, hot rollers, that I bought at one point because I hopelessly cannot get curls to stay in my hair. And I thought that this might be the way to a curled blowout that will actually last. Sadly for me, it was not, but it might be for somebody else. So I'm going to give this away and see if any of my friends want it. I also am seeing that I have this in here, which is a sample of the wallpaper on the wall behind me. I don't need to keep this sample anymore, so I can get rid of this. I have towels in here that I had planned to use as like a cleaning stash, but I never reach for these when I'm cleaning because I have a different place that I keep cleaning towels. So these can go. Same with this. Same with these. I never use them. Someone else will. More rollers. Oh boy. I never use paper cups. So these are going. I don't even know what this is. Does anybody know what this is? This is my view right now. This needs to be deep cleaned before we can put anything back. So we're gonna do that. But just, it definitely got worse before it got better. All right, you guys, we officially have a whole section here of completely empty space. And this will be perfect for all the baby and postpartum things I need. So I feel really good about that. There was honestly more in here than I was ready to either get rid of or donate than I expected. So I'm so glad that we still kind of did this whole declutter of the bathroom specifically. I think that's it for today. Yeah, I'm feeling lighter already. I can't wait to fill them with baby things. It's gonna be so fun. I will see you on another day when we tackle my living room and potentially my office. And for sure the guest room, which is going to turn into the nursery. Oh my gosh, there's so much to do there. Hey guys, it is about a week later and I'm ready to tackle the last room of this video, which is our guest room, but also soon to be nursery. So I think I've mentioned before, but just in case, this room, which you're very familiar seeing, is also my closet. This is going to turn into the nursery and we're actually creating a guest room downstairs. So that means everything in here needs to either get out of here or be brought downstairs. So we're going to be selling this. I'm actually going to be setting up a different dresser in our bedroom that matches the one that we already have, so they look nice together. It's a really nice wardrobe. It's super tall, great vertical storage, but just doesn't really fit anywhere in our house. So we're going to sell that. We're going to sell our side table, which is my junk corner of the house. So that is a disaster. You'll see it in a second. Then there's a random little table over here, stuff like that. There's also quite a bit of stuff living underneath this bed because it really just is, this is the spare room through and through. So let's tackle this. We're going to start with the worst section, which is the side table, because I just want to get it done with, post it on Marketplace, and I just know that this is going to take the longest. So we're going to start here. I think I'm just going to dump everything out on the floor and go through it. We can do a little time lapse or something because it's miscellaneous stuff. But here's what it looks like. This is either a mix of things that just don't have a place or things that need to go into a place. Junk drawer through and through. Way too many bags. I do not need this many pouches. And then books and a broken candle and other miscellaneous things down here that I don't need. All right, I'm actually at the same time going to empty this cart, I guess, because I don't really need it. I've never been super organized with what is on here. And I actually think this could be really helpful to have as like a baby storage thing somewhere either in the nursery or in other places around the house of extra diapers and such. So I'm gonna empty this and we can keep it in here because I actually might use it for the nursery, but all the stuff on here is not useful. So we're gonna go through this too. This is going to be my keep but needs to go other places bin, trash, And yeah, that's pretty much the only two options. So bring somewhere else or throw it away.
I know we both wanted different things, but letting go just comes easy to you, don't it? Why am I the only one who's left in the rain? If I had an option to be someone else, I would, and let go of you.
I just found sunglasses I've been looking for. That is hilarious. I actually had no idea where these are, and they were in my sunglass case, as they should be. Alright, I have 6 of these pouches that I don't need. I'm going to give 3 away, donate, and keep 3, because I do actually use these. That's it, you guys. That actually was fairly simple. There's quite a bit of stuff in here that either needs to go to my office or downstairs to our basement in our library. But most of this is office stuff. I'm not actually sure how it ended up in here. It's pens, it's chargers, it's cords, scissors, like that's the kind of stuff that just doesn't need to be in a guest room. So that is gonna actually be very easy to go put away and organize. Donate, put somewhere else, toss, and jewelry that just needs to go in my jewelry bin. I love it. Next one. Area number 2 we're going to declutter is this supposed to be wall organizer. I still haven't decided if I'm going to ask Jonathan to put this up in our bedroom so I can still use it, but I do think that there's more on it than I need, and if I can get by without having to put it up on our wall and making holes in the wall, that would be a good thing too. So let's just go through it quick. All right, I'm gonna keep these scrunchies and get rid of these. I find I just don't wear bright colors as much or patterns. I might keep this and just put it in like a 4th of July bin for fun, but these are really the ones that I'm gonna consistently wear, so I'll keep these. Of my clips, I'm gonna give these 4 away because the small ones, I can't fit my whole head of hair in, but my hair is also too fine to be able to use them for just a half up. And so I find that I just don't use these, or when I do, I don't like using them, so I'm just gonna give these away. I have a bunch of these tiny clips for my half up. Some of these are really cheap and I just don't need them, but look how cute, you probably can't even see it. Look how cute this is. They have little starfish on them. I could have been wearing this all summer and completely forgot I owned it. But I don't need this necklace. Pretty Madewell chain one I'll keep. This I got on our honeymoon, also keep. This actually would go cute with my outfit today too. And then this is also very cheap. I'm not gonna keep this either. So keeping these 3 necklaces, tossed 2, I think. Last but not least, I have sort of a jewelry section down here, but this is my less often worn jewelry. So I really just need to go through and decide, am I actually gonna keep these, or do I need all these little pouches? Or should I part with them and give them to someone that might actually wear them? All right, here's a dilemma I'm having. I have this pile of nostalgic jewelry. So either it's rings I used to wear for years and years and years, or necklaces, or like these earrings that I think are valuable, but I just don't really wear silver studs like this. What do you do with stuff like this? Like, is it reasonable for me to keep and put in like a keepsake box for someday, or should I just part with it and take photos and like have that be the emotional benefit? I don't know. I'm leaning keepsake box, but tell me if I'm just being ridiculous. And then I've got some jewelry that I used to wear a lot, but it's fairly cheap. It's fairly cheap, but I used to wear them all the time. Not really valuable enough to keep. So these rings I think are kind of fun. I'm fairly confident I got them from Madewell, but I'm just not gonna wear them because I have finer jewelry now. So I'm gonna give these away. And then these I think I'm just gonna toss. Sharing earrings is kind of gross. So I have a little jewelry box that has my name on it that I think I'm just gonna keep. This sort of hand-me-down jewelry that I got from my grandmother. So I have quite a bit of pearl jewelry in here that I wear on special occasions, but not super often. So I think that's a good place for these, and it can sit out on a desk or a dresser or something and look pretty. I also have this, which is also, oh, there you are, engraved with my name. I'm wondering if I put holiday jewelry in here. So For example, I have these, very festive, but not something I'm gonna wear any time of the year. Similar to these, but I don't really have a great place for that kind of stuff. So I'm thinking I might just put holiday jewelry in that and call that good. Last but not least, I have all these little bags. These will be familiar if you also shop with the store R8. It's where I've gotten a lot of my nicer jewelry from. It's a direct to consumer. They're able to sell jewelry cheaper because they don't have storefronts. And they come in these little bags, which is very helpful and cute for traveling, but I don't need this many. So I think I'm gonna keep one big one, one small one. And if I'm bringing more jewelry than that, I need to just bring like an actual jewelry container that I have, like a pouch with zippers and everything. I don't need just a bunch of these floating around. So I think I'm only gonna keep these two. All right, so I think that's everything organized. I'm not gonna put it all back on here and organize it because I'm actually gonna take these off and clean this. But I'll put the jewelry back on, and eventually I think I'm gonna put a little tray on my dresser and have like pretty kind of jewelry out, because all of the nice jewelry and perfume that I have lives on a little table over there that I'm also going to sell. There's actually nothing to declutter over there. I just need to clean it and then move it whenever I set up my dresser. So I won't show you that, but all of that will turn into something cute, some little display in my bedroom. So successful. All right, let me clean everything up and then I'll show you the after. And the side table is completely cleared off and completely empty, ready to sell. This looks so much better, organized, and I ended up using the scrunchies on the side because I thought it looked nicer. And then this little guy is ready for some baby stuff. And with that, I am going to sign off. This declutter, though obviously still very useful, freeing up some space, I felt like was really one of those, all the little piecey bits that you just have around your house that you don't take the time to clean out, but they just accumulate for years. And so I actually feel really good about what we did in these past couple days. So one step closer to being ready for an influx of baby things, but yeah, feeling grateful. Thanks for following along. I hope you were decluttering something yourself, maybe you're just hanging out. I appreciate you watching my videos, and I will see you next time.